Hi everyone, in this lesson we are going to talk about hyperlinks, which are really the foundation of the internet. Hyperlinks allow you to link your page to other pages, whether they're on your own website or another website. Now, before we get started, make sure you've downloaded the zip file that goes with this lesson. If you download the file and extract it, you should have a folder called Hobbies. And what I want you to do is put your Hobbies folder inside your web programming folder, so that here you can see in Sublime Text that I have a Hobbies folder, and it's a child of the web programming folder. So make sure you download that hobbies.zip file, extract it, and then put that Hobbies folder right inside your web programming folder. We're going to use these in a little bit here. Now let's go ahead and create a sample file for us. So we've been working inside the HTML folder. So if you can right click on the HTML folder and do new file. Here's our new file. Let's go ahead and do Control S to save it right away and give it a name. I'll call it HTML-hyperlinks.html, just like that, and I'll click save. And here we go. Here's our hyperlinks file, and I'll put your cursor right there on line 1, and we'll do the HTML snippet trick in Sublime Text. So I'll just type in HTML and hit tab, and Sublime Text inserts some of the common elements that go in every web page. So we like to format this a little bit better. We want to make it clear that the head and the body elements are children of the HTML element. So I'm going to select those lines. I just drag right through them and press tab to indent them. Now I can see that the head element and the body element are children of the HTML element. Let's put in a title here. It can say hyperlinks. And let's also add an H1 element inside the body, just like this. So H1 tab, and it can say the same thing as the title. It's always nice to put a heading at the top of the page in the browser window so that people can see what the page is about. They don't always look at the tab. Alright, so to add a hyperlink, we're going to use an A element. Now A stands for anchor. It seems like an outdated term now. I don't really hear people calling them anchors much anymore, but we used to call these hyperlinks anchors back in the day. So let's just simply put your cursor right underneath the H1 element and press A and then tab, and now you can see Sublime Text automatically inserted an attribute for us, and it put the cursor right there between the quotes, so it wants us to fill in the value of that href attribute. The href attribute has the URL to the page that you want to link to. So we'll go ahead and let's link to Google's homepage. So we'll type in http:// and then www.google.com, like that. So that's the value of the href attribute, and that's going to be the page that we link to, Google's homepage. And then what you put in between the opening A tag and the closing A tag is the text that will appear on your web page. So let's just make it say, click here to go to Google. Just like that. Okay, let's go ahead and save this. Press Control S, and then we can right click anywhere in the background here and choose Open in Browser. And here's our page in the browser. Here's our H1, and here's our A element. If I click on it, it takes me to the Google homepage. So I'll just hit the back button here. Okay, let's go ahead and add another attribute to that A element. I want to show you something here. So I'm going to put my cursor here right after the quotation mark that ends the href attribute. But make sure your cursor is still within the greater than sign there. I'm going to hit space, and then we'll add an attribute called target. So the name of the attribute is target. We'll set that equal to, now the value here is going to be a little bit strange, but type in _blank. That's going to be the value of our target attribute. I'm going to turn off the word wrap here, just like that. Okay, so we've added a target attribute and set its value to _blank. And when you do that, let's go ahead and save this now, and Alt-Tab back to the browser, And I'll reload the page, so I'll press refresh here. And if I click on the link now, you'll see that it opens up in a brand new tab. So that's a good trick for if you're linking to web pages that are on other websites, because one strategy is to try and keep people on your website as long as possible. So by putting the target attribute in there, you can see that when people click on links, they don't actually leave your website. It's still here in another tab. So what I've got here is a diagram that should be similar to what you see when you look inside your web programming folder. So we've got a few files. Now yours, your folder structure might look a little bit different than this. I've changed things since I created this diagram, but you'll get the idea here. You see that we've got an index.html file inside of our web programming folder, and actually you'll find index.html files in different places throughout these folders here. Here's your hobbies folder, and if you look inside of that, you'll see another index.html file. You'll see that one of the hobbies is bird watching, so we've got a folder for bird watching and then a folder for sports, and the bird watching folder has a few web pages built into it already. So we're going to play around with setting up links to these different files that I've set up for you. Now the index.html file, that is, like I said, you'll see that in various places. Every folder on a website should have a page that displays the contents of that folder. So, and we call that page index.html. It's also known as the default page for a folder. So that's the reason for seeing all these index.html files all over the place. Is those are supposed to have a list of links that link to all the other pages within that folder. So it's just a nice way to organize your site and set up the navigation so that people can move from one page to another easily. Now we're going to start inside the index.html folder that's directly inside the web programming folder. I'm going to switch over to Sublime Text here. And now the index.html file that we're interested in is actually on the bottom here. It looks a little bit different here in Sublime Text. But if I'll close all these other folders, it might help to see a little bit. I don't actually like the way Sublime Text indents these, but if you look closely, all the folders are closed here, and we have our index.html file down here at the bottom. That is actually, that's kind of like the home page for our entire web programming website that we're working on here. So go ahead and click on that link, and you can see I've already added some hyperlinks to this page. So we have an unordered list here, and then a few list items, and inside of each list item is a hyperlink. So those link to the home pages for the HTML folders, the CSS folder, and the JavaScript folder. Let's go ahead and add another list item to this list. So we'll start out with an LI element. So press LI and then tab. And then right inside of the LI element, we'll put a hyperlink. So right inside of the LI element, type in A and hit tab again. And we'll put the content in between the opening and closing A tags. We'll make that say visit the Eagles. So we want to link to the Eagles page that's nested within our hobbies folder. Okay, so let's now go back and fill in the value of the href attribute here, which is supposed to be the path from this page to the Eagles page. Now this is a little bit different than the hyperlink that we set up earlier, because that was linking to a different a page on a different website. Here, when you're linking to pages on the same website, we want to use what's known as a relative link. So we have to pay attention to the location of the page that we're putting the link in, and the path to get from that page to the page that you want to link to. So if I look over here, I'm going to open up the hobbies folder, and I can see that there's a bird watching folder, and within the bird watching folder I can see the eagles.html file which I want to link to here. So what I need to do to set the value of my href attribute here is put in a path from this page, which is located right here, it's inside the web programming folder, to the eagles.html page. Now, a path is made up of steps. The first step that we want to take is we want to move into the hobbies folder. So I'll type in hobbies here, and then I'll put in a /, and then the next step that I want to take is I want to step into the bird watching folder. So after the /, I'll put in bird watching. Now make sure you get this right, because if you typo something here, your link's not going to work. Once we're in the bird watching folder, I can find the Eagles HTML file right there. So I'll type in eagles.html just like that, and that should do it. So notice that we separated the steps in our path with /. That's just some syntax that you'll get used to. So this page is in the web programming folder. If we start our path here, our first step will be to step into the hobbies folder. From there we'll step into the bird watching folder, and there we should find our eagles.html file. So this is known as a relative path because the path is going to depend on where you're starting from. In this case, we're starting from our index.html file, which is right inside the web programming folder. So I'll go ahead and save this, and let's open it up in the browser just like that, and it should take you to a page that looks like this. So notice what I've done here. I've kind of put in some breadcrumb navigation here to help us. These are hyperlinks that I added to the page. Let's go ahead and take a look at the code for this page right here. So if I go back over to Sublime Text, here we go. Here's the code for that page. You can see here are the hyperlinks I've added on top, and here's the image here too. Now I want you to note something here. Now we're dealing with a few different paths right here. When you want to go up a directory, you use the //. So this hyperlink right here takes us back to the home page. That's the page that has the original link that we set up into it. So the relative path from here to there is you have to go up a folder. That's what the // represents. And then we have to actually go up another folder, and that will put us in the web programming folder, and there we'll find our index.html. So these relative links, they all depend on where you're starting and where you want to go to, and what you have to do is fill in the steps for the path to get from here to there. So from here, this is our Eagles HTML page. This is the path to get back to the home page for the web programming folder right here. Step 1, up a folder. Step 2, up another folder. That puts us in the web programming folder. There we'll find our index.html. And I tried to make a little diagram to help you see the path here. So we added a hyperlink to this file right here, and the path that we put, so I'll show you that's back here, the index.html inside the web programming folder. That's the hyperlink that we added. Visit the Eagles. So the path, hopefully this diagram might help, or maybe it doesn't because it's kind of crude, but here's where we started. Index.html inside the web programming folder. The first step that we took was to get inside the hobbies folder. From there we had to get inside the bird watching folder, and there's where we found our destination, eagles.html. So that is the path. Looks like this. Step into the hobbies folder, then from there the bird watching folder, and then from there we'll find the eagles.html file. Now make sure you read the article that goes with this video, because there's actually another twist to this called in-page links. I don't have time to cover that right now in this video. The video is already dragging out a little bit, but please check out this section, in-page links, and you'll see how that you can not only link to specific pages, but you can link to specific parts within a page. We'll see you in the next lesson.